Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're here. And if you're new here, on this channel, I discuss everything the British royals as it pertains to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, especially now that Meghan and Harry supposedly are in the United States, in LA. Of all the places in the world Harry could go, he came to LA, Los Angeles. Honestly, something is suspect here. Now, Meghan and Harry, it's been posted today on the 1st or the 2nd of July, had recorded or went live with some people from different organizations that head up different nonprofits or projects. And they discussed, under the guise of the Queen's Trust, the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, all the things that go on against well, racism, basically. There is no way that we can move forward unless we acknowledge the past. So I loved this, how he walked into this, and is just so false, unless he's trying to make up for the time when he was in his Nazi uniform. And honestly, I don't think you can make up for such a disgraceful move. Even though he was young, that still doesn't give him, it was like 7 or 8 years ago, doesn't give him the right to try to have us try to forgive him in terms of forgetting. We can say, oh, okay, well, and move past that. It hurts and that we'll just go past that because we want to be better. But the fact that he was in a Nazi uniform is unforgivable. So many millions of Jewish people lost their lives. And if it isn't the Jewish, it's the blacks. If it isn't the blacks, it's the Asians. There's genocide all throughout the world. And there's no way that you can tell me dressing up in a uniform for a party because it was private and you didn't think the world would see that someone was so disgraced by what you did that they snapped a picture and sold that picture to the papers. So I just can't just look past that. And so I think it's kind of contradictory and laughable that now he's married to a biracial woman whose mother is African American and has ties to slavery. Her lineage is from slavery. So the whole circus of this whole marriage and this whole union is kind of upsetting, unsettling in the way that here we are just forgetting. And here Prince Harry is being the president and Meghan Markle being the vice president of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. And here is their jobs to oversee or to act like they are heads or overseeing this organization that I'm assuming disperses money to certain projects and businesses that are in line with their mission. I'm assuming. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle acknowledge uncomfortable history of the Commonwealth. Meghan Markle doesn't even belong in this because although she has lineage going back through her father back to England or back to the UK, it still isn't a feeling that Meghan really fits in, that she's wanted, that she even wants to be there. I think it's both sides of the coin feel the same. It's like two magnets, of polarized magnets. They don't want to go for each other. And maybe the royal family, according to Lady Collins' book, they accepted or were very enthusiastic about having someone of color, if you will, into the family. I wonder how much of that is a marketing thing to make them look approachable when in honesty, it's not really about race, it's about wealth. It's about if you have a lot of money and you're a culture that has a lot of value, we want to colonize your culture and your country and take all that is good and claim it all, claim that we own it. And that's what colonization is. It's overtaking a culture and its race, its history, and its country, and its things, and saying it is ours, and then claiming it. And so when you say the uncomfortable history of the Commonwealth, we see that now Meghan has this VP role that I personally don't agree with, because in all honesty, Meghan is not VP material. Or is she? Are we duped, the public, to think that vice presidency isn't about how much you know and how educated you are and how fundamentally knowledgeable you are on a topic or a subject, but it's just that whoever you marry, if his family happens to own a bunch of stuff, they can just wave their magic wand and you become vice president of an organization. It almost makes the rest of us, here we are, you and I, making sure that we get the education, the knowledge, the background, and then the experience, and then apply for a position as a vice president of a company or a project or an organization, because we think we have earned it. Whereas Megan has been gifted the vice presidency role of this Queen's Commonwealth Trust. So it makes me think that this Queen's Commonwealth Trust is bullshit. And the fact that you can just have a lot of money and wealth and power and you can just wave a wand and say it is so or it is done. And so when I see Megan acting as vice president, I think, wow, why doesn't the Queen just give one family member of every family that has lineage in her country, roots in her country, some type of title and some type of job? Why not? If you can do it for this person and they get X amount of dollars payment to do this stuff, then why not give it to real people who do real work? Okay, so Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have acknowledged the uncomfortable history of the Commonwealth. Have they? As Black Lives Matter movements continue to grow, no, it hasn't. The Queen's Commonwealth Trust, which Harry is president and Meghan is vice president. Oh, you could just be husband and wife and just come in there and ransack the place and just be like, I'm the vice president, I'm the president, and you all just act like you usually do, and we'll just act like we know what we're doing. Weekly conversations about injustices facing young people today. On July 1st, so this was in July 1st, not the 6th, the Sussexes joined in on a video call to discuss the fight for equal rights with a group of young leaders. A conversation the Duchess described was energizing and inspiring. Of course it was. Of course it was energizing, because she is being put out there. That's what she feeds on. The fact that she can be relevant, that she has a purpose. Well, that's what everybody wants, is a purpose, and everyone wants to feel loved, admired, acknowledged, and cared for. So I'm not impressed. Reflected on institutional racism. Well, yeah, because who else would be better to talk about this and be made a complete fool of is the guy that donned a Nazi uniform, insulted millions of Jewish cultural survivors from their families, their grandparents and great grandparents could have died in the Holocaust. And yeah, just don a Nazi uniform to a party that he thought was private several years ago. Just because it's several years ago, and just because you apologize, and just because they buried a lot of the photos, doesn't mean that you're off the hook, Prince Harry. But more important than that, you can expect something from someone so privileged in a way. I think it should be the flip side, is that the more royal or the more privileged you are, means that you have access to the top tier of education, the top tier of character training. So I would not expect this for a royal. But okay, some of us with lower standards and would say, you know what, he's loaded. He doesn't have to play by our rules. And I would say that that's the exact reason why we create these channels and these platforms for people like me to discuss these things with other people, is because it's not okay we should not have to accept it. Exactly, I'm saying that the royals, and many of them, especially the ones that exploit over and over again the fact that they are or have been from royal lineage, should be abolished. They should go off into the sunset and live their lives, but not subject us, the common folk, the people who work in and out day and night, to feed their families and find happiness and the pursuit of happiness, to deal with their gifting of titles that put them over leaps and bounds of other people in the same company or organizations. For instance, the people like this gentleman here in this video still is had to work to get where he is. He had to create the company. He had to create his experiences to be able to qualify as someone knowledgeable enough to be in his position, right? So he took the long route because he's not royalty, or maybe he is, but he doesn't know it because we're not privy to testing at a proper and approachable price and not have thousands upon thousands of dollars in true DNA testing. Folks, true DNA testing takes blood, and it takes multiple tests, and it takes time, months upon months, for those results to come in. So whereas the royals probably have the real DNA tests that have the true lineages, we have these 23andMe saliva dip, and get, kind of where your family's from, kind of over here, probability over here, 25% probability that they're from Congo, probably 20% from North America. That's not a real DNA test. The real DNA tests go back and take quite a bit of science, and it takes thousands of dollars. So when we see that someone so-called married into a royal who's a feminist get a VP role, you think, oh, Hannah, okay? That should be the whole thing of the day. And that is why this channel exists, so that I can discuss these type of topics with other people who feel similarly. Okay, now I'm not going to read the rest of the article because you can read. I will leave the links below in the comments. Now, somebody in the comments somewhere, I don't know what video it was because I have like over 100 videos, but somebody somewhere said, oh, you don't have the data. Okay, so I know that person doesn't watch the video through the end, because if they did, they would see more than 90% of the time when I do videos and I complete them, I put the links to where I found this information. Yes, there may be 10% of the time where I forget to add the exact link because I am probably rushing, or maybe I've got multiple videos going on that I'm completing, finalizing. But 90% of the time, all links are in the description. And I have made a mental note to myself to create videos with links 100% of the time. So that is on my goal list. So don't say that you don't have the data, because I show you the data. And there are a couple of occasions that I remember that the data has eluded me. So I have seen the data, I've went to the website, I've looked at the research, and the website links were there, but of course I shut my browser and I lost that, or one or two of the links were not traceable to the exact person or place that I had wanted it. So, there's going to be a few errors in putting the links in there, but you can find them. I promise you. I promise you, it's just research, and you should be doing that on your own, not just taking anybody's word for it, including my own. I don't do that, neither should you. Okay, I will end this video, and I want you to make sure that you watch this video. And a couple of points I want to make quick is that when you watch the video, I'm trying to see here on the Telegraph, when I'm going to put the link in the description box, when you watch this video on the Telegraph on YouTube, I'll link it up. You'll just watch how when Prince Harry's talking, Meghan is looking at him like, wow, like I wish I could so be like so legit like you. And then when she talks, Prince Harry looks at her with pure disdain. And then there is a time around, a minute or so where Megan starts talking and she's like, hey, like what you said earlier. Yeah, like it's almost like she disregards him, like, oh yeah, whatever he said earlier. Yeah, it's true. Here's me. I'm saying something more relevant. I'm making up words. Look at me. Word salad. Look, look, look. And by the way, her nose looks like she needs to go back to the surgery center and get that redone. That rhinoplasty needs to be done again because to me, her nose is looking a little bit more wider. Now, that can simply be because of the makeup. She's not maybe at home putting on professional makeup because I believe they are on house arrest. You can find that anywhere over the internet, but I will include a link if I can find it to where I heard that. And that all comes out of that whole Jeffrey Epstein camp, that whole, Trump's thousands and thousands of indictments, all that stuff. A lot of Hollywood people are getting indicted, and it's secretly or quietly done. It's not advertised because what would the world do if, like, Beyonce or Jay-Z or David Spade or Tom Hanks or Oprah got indicted and were arrested and it was advertised or put on house arrest? What would people do? They'd lose their shit. Okay, but anyway, I will link up as much as I can. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. I hope you're having a blessed day. And by the way, thank you all for your support. I'll see you in the comments. Bye.